Hello, and we're live. Good morning, good afternoon,
Hello.
good evening, everybody. Welcome to season 2, episode 1 of Once Upon a Game, story game variety show, where now we play on Sundays and play occasionally GM games and not just GM-less. But we still play games that emphasize uh, kind of skewing or queering the dynamic between player and GM responsibilities and roles. And today we're going to play for the first episode a brand new released version of Microscope. It's one of the versions of Microscope Explorer, and this one is called Echo. And Microscope Echo is, for those who are familiar with Microscope, is Microscope with actual time travel where you can rewrite events. So I'm super looking forward to it. And I'm also super looking forward to introducing my two fabulous guests for this week. Sam, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. It's nice to not be playing in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I'm excited here too. So, Adam, hey, your sound's super low, dude. Nothing. He was totally
Hello.
fine. Yeah, there we go.
Testing. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay.
Skype was like, "Hey, your webcam mic looks pretty nice. Let's use that one." And I'm like, "No, I bought all this stuff to use this." And Skype didn't want to have it, but now I'm using the good one. So
Wonderful.
we should be okay now. How are you doing?
Yeah. Excellent, excellent.
Good.
I dig your shirt, by the way.
It's a good one.
So, um, So Microscope is just like any other game we're gonna play. Is a game that really comes down to the players who are playing it, and us basically leaving it on the table, but in a safe way. And so the way we do that is we have the X card rule. I know you guys have been here and veterans
Hmm.
before, so you know about it. But for anyone who's new, might be turning in or watching it, the X card is that if anybody's uncomfortable with anything that we put forward, like maybe like egregious depictions of violence or talking dolphins, you just be like, "Yo, I gotta exit out. I'm not feeling that stuff. Like, can we please not go down that path?" And because we respect you, we won't ask you why. You don't have to justify it. We trust you that you are uncomfortable, and we will just straight up omit it like magic and work around retconning as we need to, because your safety and happiness is our priority here. So, um, but that rule is only as good as if we believe in it. So, do we agree? Are we good with it, guys?
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so let's talk about Microscope Echo. The big differences between Microscope and Microscope. Wait, well, first, Sam, you have never played Microscope, right?
I have not.
Okay, so Microscope is like vanilla Microscope is a game about epic world building and histories, and I think you know a little bit about it, like conceptually, right?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. So, in this version of Microscope, we're going to be creating a history together, just like vanilla. However, we're also going to have competing factions who will be going back in time and editing events and having their edited events echo through history, hence Microscope Echo.
Ah.
So we will change history a lot, and it's possible throughout the game that we basically unravel history if we push too hard, and we could end up destroying it. It would be a lot of fun. So, with that being said, I think we're ready to begin. So I'm gonna go over to the screen. Oops, that's the wrong screen. Don't mind me. There we go. So, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to come up with our factions. And whenever we start with factions, is that we start with what our factions' goals are. This is kind of weird because we don't even know what our history or what our time
Yeah.
or anything will be, because it seems kind of backwards. But this is what we're going. This is what the rules say we start with, and that's what we're going to start with. So what we want to know is what does one of our factions want to change? We will describe how history turned out originally and the outcome that this, excuse me, we will describe how the histories turned out originally and the outcome this group wants instead. They may want to even prevent something or make something else happen. And we should pick something clear and specific. Simpler the better. It must also be something that has just a distinct success and failure. Later on, it might be obvious to us whether the faction achieved their goal. So, for example, like a war devastated the globe and they're trying to prevent it. A dying species destabilized the ecosystem and we have to save them from extinction. Or humanity joined the galactic community, but were overshadowed by the mighty alien civilizations, and so we have to go back in time and make humanity a major stellar power. The goal should change the outcome of history, not just be something that happened in the middle. It should be something that is not easily fixed in the future, something that is worth going back in time to change. And there are a couple options here. And then the following step of that will be the opposition's goal, which is the opposing faction's goal. So what kind of thing do we want fixed? And what would be the first faction's goal?
If possible, I think maybe we should steer away from doing the like direct like war versus not war, where like it's like, all right, like these guys are kind of the good guys and these guys are kind of the bad guys. Maybe make it sort of a shade of gray kind of.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. So, there's a list of a couple options in the book already. One of them would be Land of the Free, where it's kind of like a Big Brother-y Terminator kind of situation where people are going back in time. Another one would be, I think this one might be cool, the Black Sword Unbroken. This is the Dark Lord forged the Black Sword, a weapon of terrible might. So much of his power was invested in it that when the sword was broken, so was he, freeing the land from his shadow forever. And now thralls of the Dark Lord, our faction, lament the fall of their master, skulking and hiding from their enemies while they plot to undo the great victory. Their goal is to avert the destruction of the Dark Lord so his reign continues. And then the Dark Rangers are wardens that have not been lulled in by the siren call of peace like any other so-called guardians of the land. And their goal is to ensure the Dark Lord's destruction. So, like, maybe we can riff on that idea. Just basically a controversial figure is assassinated, and two different groups want to keep them alive.
It could be fun to have evil and other evil.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of.
So like
thinking.
we have like one dark, like the black sword and like the blacker spear or something. Just like two. Like no, you can't have your
the
evil
ebon
lord
blade
emerge because we want our evil lord to emerge.
Oh man, yeah. It sounds like a Joe Abercrombie book.
Okay, so we have two opposing like evil factions, and then like both of their like gods or avatars like would die, and so like one's trying to go back to resurrect their avatar or like make sure their avatar wins, and the other one is the other one. Is that what we're gonna do?
I'm wondering.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that, and I'm thinking maybe it should be something like the two avatars are like somehow related, and so make the conflict like, you know, ostensibly it's about these two ideals, but really it's just like a feud between these two guys who are just like do not like each other and just will not like each other.
Like they're evil god brothers or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like something like that.
Yeah,
It
very
all
much.
stems down to sibling rivalry.
Okay, so
or so, yeah, whatever we decide, but yeah.
I like that.
okay, so would they have the same faction goal then? Prevent their destruction of their avatar, or would it be? Is their goal to prevent the destruction of their avatar, or to destroy the other avatar?
I think maybe one would be like prevent the destruction, and the other would be
No, because they're both like offensive,
right? Like,
It could be.
that's
like
fine. I think that's fine for them to both, because like that's a clearly definable goal.
they can both like they both have the same goal of make sure their Dark Lord comes out on top.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. Do we? I think we. I don't know when you come up with a name for the factions. Um. Oh, describe factions in future. Okay, that would be step 4. Okay. So we're still in step 1. So this faction 1's goal will be to ensure their should I say God avatar? Is that what we said? Ensure their God
Sounds good to
avatar
me.
is the victor. So like I picture there's some sort of like I'm gonna hold off on that because that might be too far in the future for where we are right now. I'll suggest that later. Why is this one's font's 12? And that's also 12. Why is this one way bigger than this one? I have no idea what's going on in this program. They have the exact same definable characteristics. Okay,
Is
well,
one Zoom?
no, I don't, I don't understand. Okay. Okay, so we're done there. So that's the opposition's goal as well. So how can we change history? What can the factions do to tamper with history? Once they travel back in time and their agents are either like normal people or do they have tricks up their sleeves? Basically, we have to talk about the power level of going back in time, right? Like, are we dealing with like omnipotent beings? And the way the game has it is that there's 3 sort of power levels. The first one is ordinary, and this is scales from hardest to easiest in terms of affecting change. The first one is ordinary, where agents can only do what a normal person can do. They have no special abilities or tools. An example of that could be like a time agent sneaking into a garage and having to cut the brakes of the ambassador's car. An extraordinary time travel would be agents can do seemingly impossible things using magic or technology. An agent uses a spell to walk through the wall of a crypt and steal the crown jewels. Or omnipotent, where a faction can change the past without any direct interaction. They simply warp reality to make things turn out differently. My idea off the bat would be extraordinary.
That's where I was thinking.
That's sort of like the average, like that's like the vanilla. That's a Goldilocks place in time. Especially since we're dealing with god avatars, I like the idea of using spells to affect people back in time in a way.
Yeah.
Right. So like, it has the option
Yeah.
of having magic.
Mm-hmm.
What could be interesting is like so it's like he's got
Robot.
this like
Nobody.
Uh-oh.
Any better?
Yeah, that's better. That's much better.
Okay.
I don't know why that just happens. Like, thanks Skype.
Yeah.
Awesome Skype. Appreciate it on season 1. Just deciding to.
So if
We should
we're
hold on.
talking-
We should go back and we should make a game about inventing a better Skype.
Oh man.
Burn. Get wrecked,
So.
Skype.
All right.
So I was thinking basically. So if our idea is that, one of these factions like lost their avatar, fell and was destroyed. Maybe like this magic or whatever extraordinary ability is like drawn from this avatar, and so
Oh.
they've been weakened.
Oh, that's a good point. Let's revisit this a little bit, because that's sort of like the next step, anyways. We should ask the question. These like there's some sort of like Clash of the Titans kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And did one god emerge victorious, or did they both like destroy themselves? You know what I mean?
I was thinking it'd be interesting if they like
Are they
both.
still fighting?
Ooh, that could be interesting. But if they, so my thought with this, just the power levels sort of made me think of this. If they were both destroyed, then it could almost be like a race to get to that, to like jump one faction to that omnipotent level. It's like right now we're both competing on this extraordinary level because we can like draw this magic, but it's not as powerful. But whoever's the first to restore their avatar then becomes, their magic grows in power or whatever.
Yeah, no, I that's what I was thinking, a similar idea like that, like the gods annihilated each other, and then the residual magic or whatever is sort of like what they're
Yeah.
trying to like capture up and use to go back in time to like fix it so their god gets more and
Yeah.
more real.
So,
Yeah,
so our gods are kind of like Cthulhu-y in that
Yeah.
like they exist on a level above humanity
Yeah,
or whatever. So
exactly.
like even though they're dead, their magic still comes through and they can go. Yeah.
Yeah, right. They're like vessels
Cool.
of this power. They're just representations of it, physical manifestations of their power, if you will. And so their magic is what's left over, as which is like the
Yeah.
residual manifestation of their gods. So like everyone else is trying. So everyone right now, like the two factions, are trying to pull as much of their evil god power back together so they can resurrect him.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so we agree that the two factions annihilated each other, and so like there's some sort of like apocalyptic final judgment battle between these two evil gods, and they both ended up like losing, and now everyone's like picking up the pieces and scrambling to like go back in time and affect and change this thing, because like maybe like the world ended or something, some sort of like horrible
Yeah.
Ragnarok where both evil factions lost, which would be interesting because we don't know what happened to good factions, which. I'm getting too far ahead because that might be interesting to see in this game. So we need to describe a little bit more about our factions. We should explain who they are, and we need to give them a name. We should discuss what gives these factions the capability to send agents back in time. Well, we did that a little bit. And then we should also describe this future where these factions exist in just a few sentences. So I think we talked a little bit about in this future there's some sort of like, divine final battle between God avatars, and they end up annihilating each other, leaving their acolytes and factions with no direction except to go back in time to make sure that their god's even more powerful in the past. So what should we name our two factions, I guess?
It's always the hardest part.
Yeah, it's super
I'm
hard.
so bad at names.
Yeah. It is season 2, Fake Alex, by the way. I mean, if they should, do you want to do Black Hand, like the Black Hand and the Ebon Fist, like horrible, like really close names, and they're just like fighting each other out for like vanity.
The Black Hand and the Ebony Fist. Yeah, I really
Yeah,
like that.
that's perfect. That's perfect.
So they're like kung fu, like master, like martial art fighters.
Yeah. Like, I would think that like the magic would be like some sort of like more spiritual, like key or
Yeah.
like like that kind of deal.
Oh my God. So then, yeah. How about this for magic then? The only way you can affect the change is by like using your own personal ancestors in a way like Assassin's Creed.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because of
Yeah,
like your
that's
like your
cool.
key
Yeah.
is like your spirit, like of your ancestors, and that's how it works.
Yeah,
So you go
yeah.
back in
That's
time.
awesome. I like that.
The Black Hand and the Ebony Fist. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
I also love that like the whole conflict really just like boils down to just like two pissed off guys.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah.
it's so shallow. It's great.
Yeah, no, I think there's a lot of value in that. Yeah, this is totally Chinese gangland fighting game.
Yeah.
It's like a Chinese gangland meets Assassin's Creed. It's going to be awesome.
It's Sleeping Dog. It's Sleeping Dogs: Days of Future Past.
Oh, that's really good. Okay, so I think we're doing pretty well here. Then I think we're ready to make history now. So we do this just like we would in Microscope. Now that we know the outcome, what each faction wants to change, we need to make the past that led to this outcome. This is the original history before factions start mucking it up. We need to follow these steps to build our history. And so the first one is our big picture or our high concept. This is where we summarize what happened to get the outcome that the factions want to change. We don't include the factions or the future that you described earlier. The big picture is the history before their time. So this is before the epic battle.
So I would think that like the natural thing, and if you guys don't want to go with this, that's fine because it's kind of the obvious answer, but it would be sort of to me like the split that happened where these two dark gods decided that they were no longer cooperating and that they were, you know what I mean?
Oh. So we can do Oh, okay. So then that might be our starting bookend. But before that,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
let's describe. No, I like the idea that so the
Definitely.
gods aspects of a god split. I don't know, causing something, right?
Okay. So what if it had like something to do with like so there's like one god and then he like splits up his power into two and then that's like
I know that's what I'm getting to, and then I don't know how to end it. Obviously, they have to fight. Um, It's like Thunderdome. It's like Divine Thunderdome.
yeah, oh yeah.
um, the Black Hand and the Ebony Fist are descendants of the ancient order of the Unlit Glove.
Um,
The Dark Mittens.
the dark
Okay. Yeah, no, I like the idea that that they're incompatible and that only one can win. A powerful god splits into two entities, and neither, and I can't spell entities, and neither can, and they're not cohabitable. Neither can exist together.
trying to think of why they can't exist together. What is like the key factor?
I think it's that they're bounded agents. Is like the fact that like they come from the same god that's split in two. That like they're water and oil. They just can't get along.
Yeah, and it could even be that like if one is able to wipe out the other, then it like takes the place as the like sort of like absorbs the power, like it's able to expand in a way. I'm sort of thinking like if you're talking about like this oil and water analogy, like maybe not even thinking of them as like human type beings, but something that sort of exists
Just
on this
forces,
other plane. Yeah,
like just an elemental force.
yeah, that's sort of what I was thinking. Is like if one force disappears, it allows the other to expand outward.
Ooh. Yeah. So Alarin's asking, what happens if two gods of shadow exist? No, I like the idea now that they're aspects of the they are aspects of the same god. So maybe it's just the worshippers have different like it's more about a faction cultural difference, right?
That
Than it is. It's like two interpretations of the same god, right? And they're going to fight a theocratic type battle against each other.
So it
So-
boils down to like a. I might be getting too specific, but I was thinking almost boils down to like a Reed Richards versus Doctor Doom kind of thing, where it's like, no, my science is better than your science.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's two competing philosophical martial arts schools.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So my one question then is, what is that would have to change our event a little bit, right? Because the things can't really destroy each other. It can't be the entities destroying each other then, right? If we're gonna say it's the same entity, it can't be.
No, it totally could be.
Okay.
But think of it this way: like, what if each school could like summon an aspect of their god, like a giant,
So it is only one,
Pacific
but
Rim
but
like robot
the,
that they like
yeah.
they psionically control, right? Or psychically.
The schools themselves are turning it into two.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah. Okay.
So like
All right,
imagine imagine there's like
That's
one like supreme like the force, right? Like it's like this like invisible presence, and one the Black Hand is using it in one way that's very similar to the Ebony Fist, but they have some sort of very distinct cultural difference.
Right.
And part of it is that like they can like summon their power to make like an aspect of the Black Hand fight,
Perfect.
like a dueling what's it called, the movie with not John Cena, Michael Cera, with when he does the Battle of the Bands to get his the girlfriend.
Oh,
Scott Pilgrim.
Scott Pilgrim, yeah, like
Yeah.
when they have like the giant monster fights or like whatever
Yeah,
from their
yeah, yeah.
music, it's like that only like martial art like kata kind of like practice that makes their guy, right?
It's very anime.
Yeah, no, it's super. Yeah,
Very
it feels
So we're
super
pla-
anime now, but like
We're playing with left Twix and right Twix,
yeah,
basically.
yeah, exactly.
I'm very curious
Yeah.
if there actually is a definable difference, or it's literally just like, wait, no, you're the Black Hand, you're the Ebony Fist. What's the difference? No, you don't understand. There's
Yeah.
a huge difference.
Exactly.
So what
Exactly.
is
No,
it?
exactly.
No, they're the Black Hand, but
Well,
we're the Ebony Fist.
Yeah.
That's I don't even need to explain any further.
Exactly.
They ripple chocolate over caramel. We drizzle chocolate over caramel.
No, it is very, very much like super. I love the idea of them being like near identical, but just like one
Yeah,
slight
yeah, that's
difference. It's
good.
like
Yeah.
one bows like one has to bow slightly lower, and the other one feels like super offended that like they want to bow lower. Like there's this one, like there's like one passage that someone wrote down long ago that they're just fighting over. The interpretation of it. Cool.
Sounds about right.
So, what should we do for our first bookend? Yeah, it is kind of more like animism. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah, the beliefs do manifest the perception. That's exactly what it is. So, where should we start? Should we start with the founding of the dual schools, like this, or something like that?
Should it be like the split?
Yeah.
That's what I was
From,
thinking.
What's a better
natural.
word? What's a better word for split? The rupture, the schism.
Schism?
Yeah,
Yeah.
schism.
Yeah. The
The
Great Schism.
That is an existing thing.
I know.
The Great Schism. So, Black Hand and Ebony Fist are formed over competing. I can't spell. Competing ideals.
So I might be getting ahead of myself, but do we know how pervasive these factions are? Like how many people, like, is it that they're two like pretty small schools, but they just have a lot of influence?
Oh.
Is it that, like do we want to decide any of that?
Yeah. How what do you guys think? I was thinking that these schools were like, they're pretty popular.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I was kind of thinking large enough to, have some major influence in the world. Like
Hmm.
everyone knows about it. Everyone probably knows someone in one or the other,
Yeah.
but maybe not everyone is in one or the other.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I like that.
I dig it. I dig it.
Mhm.
So where should our book end? Stop. It could actually be the final judgment battle, right? Like that's totally fine unless we want to do something else. It could be a little bit before if we wanted to, but
Should it be
the Great Reckoning.
yeah, like one of the avatars like manifests into reality?
Well, oh, do we want to? Oh, okay. Well, no, because that's what they're trying to do by going through time, right? This
Oh,
is
okay. So
before they
this-
mess
okay.
with it.
I mean, if we want to go super like martial arts movie anime, then it would just have to be like the two leaders, like the leader of each faction, and they like duel each other to the
Right?
death.
Yeah, like that's what the avatars are doing, right? Like
Yeah.
Right.
so this will be the final duel, right?
Yeah,
Or the
you
final
know,
showdown.
each one summons like his spirit avatar, whatever, and then they do martial combat until one is proven the victor.
Yeah. Fake Alex also brings up a point in chat, is that it would be almost more interesting if at least at first the world's largely ignorant of both factions. So like maybe like the schism, and we see each of these groups rise to power over time until they finally like their groups are untenable and they fight to the death. That's possible.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does make a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the final showdown.
This is why everyone should play all of their games with chat.
Yeah. Black Hand and Ebony Fist. Avatars. Duel.
The 7-part episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That is the duel between.
So
that is most of them standing around screaming at each other.
Well, if this was a true anime, they would have to unite to defeat the real true big bad.
Oh yeah. Seriously. Okay, so now we do the palette, just like a regular game.
Okay.
Yeses and nos.
Got it.
Any ideas? Anything that strictly calls out to mind? What kind
I
of?
want to say.
All right, can I back up 1 second?
Hmm?
Perhaps for our high concept, what time period is this?
I think it'd be kind of cool if this like, because I think the like initial thing is to go like old schooly like ancient Japan or ancient China or whatever. Like,
exactly.
I think it'd be cool if this was like more modern, because one of the yeses I was gonna actually put in was like mafia triad-esque gang things.
Oh.
Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah. So you're gonna say yes to that, then I'm gonna say no to guns. So I want it to be futuristic,
so
but I
all
want
of
them
them are,
still to just be like
Yeah!
kung fu fighting.
Yeah. Mafia. So let's do mafia / yakuza like criminal gangs.
Or maybe just no to weapons in general, so that we just like have like
They have
just,
to use their fists.
yeah, they're just like fighting each other with their fists and magic.
Oh yeah, no guns, weapon. Yeah, only fists and magic. Yeah,
That's
awesome.
like one of the tenets of both, but they argue about like how far each one goes. Like, no, they only use their fists, and that's so barbaric. We believe that the body is like your fists are an extension of your soul, and so that's why we only use our feet.
Yeah.
Or could it? So maybe we could even make it like only the two factions don't do that.
Oh, so they fight people with guns? It's just the two factions don't have guns? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I can go either way with it. I just don't want to be like too prohibitive with this.
Yeah.
In case
no,
somebody else has good ideas.
I super dig the corny, like, just, you know what I mean? Like this, like the kung fu movie kind of aspect to this, where it just it feels out of place because no one uses guns in the modern time. But God, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Let's do that then. Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. So, yes, something that I want to see in the game would be betrayal. I want to see betrayals.
Mm-hmm.
Just as a general conflict. I'd be like, oh, but you are the chosen one, you know.
But you
why would you dishonor me? You know, like you're my son. You know, like that kind of stuff. Like I want that sort of like thing in the game. Cool. Since we all contributed, so we can anyone can contribute again. Oh, actually, hold on. I need to take a step back. Was the Great Schism when these things split? Was this like ancient time when they split, and they've always been rivals through time? Is that an idea, or is this going to be like a schism in modern day, like when we begin and they split and then they start fighting?
I like it's always been that or whether it actually was or not.
Okay, good.
They think it's always been that way.
Okay, because I was thinking about like. I didn't want to say I want flashbacks because I wouldn't really exist in a way. So that's why I wanted to bring that up, because like I want to have like, but not just betrayals, but I wanted to see like legacy fighting like ancestor versus ancestor, and it's like you've always been
Yeah.
fighting. Like I really want
Yeah,
like these
yeah,
cliche like
Yeah.
things in the game.
Uh-huh.
The Shin clan has always fought the Wu
Yeah,
clan.
right. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, our great grandfathers dueled on top of the mountain, right? It's like,
Exactly.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Alarin,
Ancestor dueling.
flashbacks through their ancestors' memories.
Yeah, ancestor duelings. Yeah,
Ancestor duels. Heck yeah.
yeah.
I'm gonna say yes to modern transportation
Oh, so we like fight on top of like cars and stuff.
and like
Oh,
trains.
sweet.
I just want to
Oh, yeah,
have
I
a
mean-
battle on top of a train at some
Yeah,
point.
no, I was thinking. Yeah, I was thinking of fighting on top of a shipping truck, right?
Oh,
Like on a
perfect.
highway. Yeah, like this is totally. Oh yeah.
I guess okay.
Let's just do
I'm gonna say
fighting
no.
on top of vehicles.
Yeah.
No.
I guess I'm not sure how I want to if it's gonna if I want to say this is a yes or a no, but I want to have like the physics defying fights like Crouching Tiger, Hidden
Yeah,
Dragon, where like
yeah,
on
yeah,
top
yeah.
of little trees and there's like.
yeah.
So I guess maybe
I
yes
just say
to, like or
I don't know. Kung Fu movie
I guess it can be
physics?
no real world physics or yes weirdo physics. Like either one will work.
Yes, I'll say yes. Kung Fu physics.
Yeah,
Yes,
sure.
Kung Fu physics.
It's like
Wire
I-
fighting physics.
Yeah, wire. Exactly. We get this. Oh yeah, this is awesome. I think we need to start. Yeah, how about? I think we need to do some more no's.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about geopolitics. Like I don't really care about like what countries think. I want this game to kind of focus more on
Definitely,
our small time type
Sure.
stuff,
Yeah,
right?
the faction themselves.
Mhm.
Yeah. No like international geopolitical like country versus country shit like that
Right.
that involves this kind of stuff. I like the idea of just like more of the factions in the world dueling instead of governments. Yeah, no Boxer Rebellion.
So I'm trying to decide how to phrase this,
Mhm.
but I've sort of got this like idea, like you know how in like a lot of these movies, it's like they're like the hero class guys, and then they're like the like minion pawn class dudes.
Yeah.
So, like sort of like in like a Dynasty Warriors game where it's like, like there might be like a crowd of people, but it's all like the like little dudes are like fighting each other, and then the two like real heroes will like be battling it out.
Like they always like eye each other down and they all like
Yeah.
jump over the thing and start clashing and like everyone else is like just off to the side.
Yeah, it's like you like jump over, like sweep your sword, like kill like 10 minion dudes,
Yeah.
and then you go fight the real
So
guy.
do you want like yes to like epic heroes in history? Is that what, or like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, so I'm wondering. I was trying to decide how to phrase it as a no because we need more no's.
oh no, you don't have to phrase it in terms of a no. Like the yes definitely helps define what we want, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then
Yeah.
then I guess so it'd be like yes to larger than life heroes.
Yeah. Maybe I should put heroes in quotes, but we'll see.
Yeah.
All right,
Um,
cool. Yeah.
I'll say no to like I think they're definitely like evil and like spiritual gangs, but I don't want to see like dark rituals where they sacrifice someone to the demon lord or whatever. Like there's definitely like stuff that they do and like cultural things, but yeah, I don't want to see like ripping out the heart and
So
it beating and they set like
no
like
no dark rituals or graphic violence.
well
what you
no,
want?
graphic violence is fine. I just like it's more like
Oh, like disturbing rituals.
yeah, I guess like
Dark disturbing rituals is what I have.
sure.
I think are we all on board with that? What that means?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I guess this brings up a good point. How do we feel about like actual violence? Because like in kung fu movies, there's like no blood, right? And nobody like breaks anything, and you don't see any bones. How do we feel about that? How should our game?
I mean, I think that this would be sort of a weird place to break from the theme we're going for.
Yeah.
So like I think we're gonna like. I like the idea of having scenes where it's like the guy's like getting kicked in the face like 100 times. It's like obviously his face would be like a bloody mess, but
Yeah,
instead
right.
like he's
Yeah.
got like a bruise on his cheek.
Yeah,
You know?
he has like the one like cut on his forehead.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like that's what I mean. Like I want to know like what
Uh-huh.
our violence level is for the game. It seemed like it felt like we are going there,
Yes.
but I wanted to.
So like no
enumerate.
realistic violence,
Yeah.
Yeah,
or no realistic gore, I guess, or
Yeah.
how
yeah.
would
I
you
think
Right.
that's a
phrase
better
it?
way to put it.
Yeah, no realistic violence score. So like we know. Yeah. Yeah, in a way it's ultra violent because
Right.
like you're just doing all this stuff without any of the ramifications of it.
Yeah.
You know. Like people are like next to explosions and there's like no problem.
Yeah.
That
Right,
kind of
yeah.
shit, right?
You just
Yeah.
And so like
calmly
people
walk
people can
past-
definitely die from a fight, but it's more just like they punch and their neck just goes and then
Yeah.
they fall. It's
Yeah.
like no.
Right, it's like the
Yeah.
whole fight happens and like nothing really, and then it's like the one punch and then it's like to the chest or whatever. It's like no,
Yeah.
flies through
Yeah,
the
because
wall.
it's gotta be like the ultimate technique that's been passed down through generations.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I feel like we have a pretty good palette, guys. I think we're getting even too far ahead on our palette with what we want to suggest in this game. I am feeling the shit out of this. This is
Yeah,
awesome.
I'm so excited. I've
So,
been wanting to do this
yeah.
for a long time.
Yeah, this is good. Okay. So the next part is after we do the palette is our first pass. The first pass is describing the incidents that created the situations that the factions want to change. This is very similar to just a regular old microscope where we create periods and events at this time for our timeline. Oh, by the way, we didn't talk about it. The Great Schism and the Final Showdown, are they light or dark?
Oh yeah.
Can you quickly just? Is it just like very
Tonally,
basic?
in terms of
Okay.
tone.
Okay.
It doesn't. Yeah, you can have dark things in light of in light periods as well. Like it's just in terms of an overarching kind of tone.
I guess like first like immediately I assume both are dark.
Okay,
So
But
I feel that too.
I can totally see that, and I'm just gonna play devil's advocate here. I'm fine either way, but
Yeah,
I was
totally.
thinking maybe the Great Schism could be like light, just because it would, from the perspective of like each faction, it would be like,
That's true.
oh, we threw off this like shackle or whatever. Like these people were like
Huh.
keeping us down and like stopping us from,
Yeah,
doing God's work and praising the Lord or whatever, and so that in that way it could almost be light.
Alarin in chat mentions how no wonder these guys can't settle this over the years. Nobody dies in the fights. Yeah, very very much.
Oh man.
Okay. So let's start. I have a turn order already set up. So starting for the turn would be Sam. So it's gonna be Sam, Adam, then me.
Yep.
So Sam, you could create a period. Periods are vast expanses of time that are like definable. That sort of like have a concept. Examples of periods are two bookends down here: the Great Schism and the Final Showdown, and sort of like a little description of what they are. And events are, I don't know any other way of putting it other than they are events and they live in periods.
Yeah, like
and
specific happenings within a
yeah.
period.
My go-to generic example would be so this is a period of time where there's vast cultural like resurgence and knowledge where people were reading stuff in the past and learning all about science and developing new painting and art and invention. And it's happening around like the 1400s or so, and I'm gonna call it the Renaissance, right? Like
Okay.
something like that. Like that's sort of like what a period would be. And then an event would be like, okay, so this is an event that's in the Renaissance. I think what I'm gonna do with Leonardo da Vinci invents the first successful flying machine.
Yeah. Or like you could Star Wars it and be like the Age of Rebellion is a
Yeah.
period, and then the destruction of the Death Star is an event.
Yeah, exactly. You could call it is a period
Yeah.
of civil war. ...
Yeah.
Right, and like just go.
So I'm wondering if I'm thinking I'm having trouble deciding what I would want to call it, but I'm
Okay,
thinking
let's
of
talk.
this
Let's
like
talk it out.
yeah, this like era where both sides are like refining their techniques is like both like if we're thinking about it, like the martial art and the religion are like sort of very inexorably tied,
Yeah, very much
and
so.
like
Your kung fu is weak.
yeah, so like it seems like these like both these like styles or whatever
The
would be
montage
descended
age.
from the same thing, right? It's like the age where like the ebony fist like comes up with like their secret technique, and like it differentiates from the direction that
Yeah,
the black the black hand, yeah, the black
Yeah.
hand,
yeah,
is going, like open palm versus closed fist technique or something.
yeah. Uh, Allerin in chat, the time of training.
Yeah, or yeah, time of training or
This is the.
the refining of technique.
Can we call it "Let's get
Yeah.
down to business"
Let's get down to business.
to defeat?
Yes. Yes.
Awesome.
Awesome. So are invested in practicing in refining their beliefs and
Hmm. Lots of water
Training.
slapping and like tree punching.
yeah,
tree
exactly. Is this a period of light or dark?
Light, I would say. Or
Yeah.
sorry, it's yours.
It sounds to me like it's light.
Okay.
And and I think I think it's easier just to not try to like force it to be something it's not. So
It's totally subjective, man. If there's a reason why it's dark and you don't know, you can be like, I don't know, but it's dark. Like that's a perfectly valid thing to say in Microscope, and you let someone else figure it out. You can always pass the buck in Microscope. The important part is that when it's your turn, you have full creative authority over
Yeah.
stuff. But if you don't want authority and like you don't explicitly say something about something, then someone else can take that in a completely different direction
Right.
as what you meant, and it might feel like they robbed you of your authority, but really it's like I left that open.
right.
It's very much a let it go. Yeah, you could play this kind of competitively in a way. I think I was talking about it the other day about playing competitive Microscope, where if you're not explicit, people can like really mess with your stuff.
That's with your stuff.
But
Yeah, I think it is
it's-
light
yeah.
though
Okay,
for this one at least.
yeah, yeah.
And now I come up with an event, right?
No. It goes to Adam.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah.
got it.
This is the first pass. There's a next step called the second pass, which is new in Echo, where we get to create events in history.
Hmm.
So Adam, it's to you.
Okay. I will say. Oh, geez, how can I make this as weird, as cliche as possible? The war of the bonsai tree.
Oh yeah. Okay. That sounds good. Does this go to the left or to the right of Let's Get Down to Business?
After let's get down to business.
Very well.
We could even make it like more like absurdly poetic and just call it the trimming of the bonsai tree or something like that.
War. Well, I'm gonna put it tentatively. War of the Bonsai.
Sure.
The war of the bonsai. Yeah, that's good.
Mhm.
The Black Hand and Ebony Fist are. Describe this for us? What is the War of the Bonsai? Is it their first like?
I feel like it's the
hardcore
first
war?
real conflict between the Black Hand and the Ebony Fist. And then it'll be dark.
The first wide scale
Hmm.
Black Hand and Ebony Fist fight. Cool. And thinking that's gonna be dark.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm feeling the darkness there.
Feel the darkness.
Feel the darkness.
Embrace it.
Yes.
Awesome. I am going to make. I think I'm going to make an event. I'm going to create an event under the Great Schism. And this is going to be before I write it down, I'm going to talk about it. I'm thinking about doing an event where somebody steals like an ancient, like secret philosophical book, right? From perhaps like a religious, like secret monastery,
Hmm.
and it's sort of like the source of material for the Black Hand and the Ebony Fist. Where it
Like it's
originally
like a
comes from. It's
technique
like
book.
it's like the founding father between both of them. Like it's like before they actually schism. It's just like
Hmm.
the book that maybe causes the schism,
Yeah.
right? Maybe, I don't know, but I'm going to call it. Um, I yeah,
The Way of the Dark Hand.
yeah. The Shadow Palm manuscripts
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
are stolen from Mount uh, Yakugi. Um,
Now, do we know, was this in control of one or the other, or is it sort of like this is neutral ground, it stays there, and then one of them's like, no.
not
Oh yeah.
not.
Awesome.
I like the idea that it was, but I don't have control over that. I'm leaving it open.
Okay.
I mean, I
Uh-huh.
do. I could explicitly say it, but I'm going to leave it open to be riffed on by us because I think this is good enough, and I'm gonna make that dark because I don't think that this was supposed to happen
Right.
because they were stolen. There's probably a reason why they were stolen, right? Oh yeah, giant Alan, giant Sensei's beard trimming manual. Awesome. Okay. So now we go to our second pass,
Hmm.
and now each player gets to add a single event to the history, just like the first pass, except you can't make periods. Again, we should
Okay.
focus on making history that shows how the situation the factions want to change has come to pass.
Okay.
So does it start with me again, or do we go the other way?
No, it starts with you again.
Okay. Um. So I was thinking about sort of expanding on the event that you picked as like a next step forward.
Okay.
Um, and so like it's like the Shadow Palm manuscripts are stolen, and then like the event I was thinking that would the obvious answer is that they were stolen by the Black Hand, and so it's like something like the closing of the fist, where it's like the Ebony Fist discovers like their like techniques because like they don't have this manuscript to train from anymore.
So the Ebony Fist. Um. How, so the Black Hand is. So the Ebony Fist learns from the Black Hand their training stuff.
Well, so what I was thinking was we were saying someone stole it. I was
Yeah.
basically just going to push it one step forward and say the Black Hand stole the open palm manuscripts, and then since the Ebony Fist doesn't have those like books to train from, like they're now like now it's just like being passed master to pupil, and so it like changes like their martial. That's like how the martial arts sort of evolves and becomes two different branches basically.
So, without the uh, Shadow Palm manuscripts, the Ebony Fist teaches by way of mentor, or what do you call it, sensei?
Yeah, sensei pupil or something like that.
Sensei pupil.
Um, yeah, the closing of the fist or something like that. Um, and yeah, I was gonna say, so I would
Is this
think
light
that
or
that would
dark?
happen. I think this is light. I don't know why.
That's fine.
Um, Also, I was wondering if it would maybe go under "Let's get down to business" because that's like sort of seems like a
Oh,
refining of a technique to me slightly.
okay. Well, think of it in terms of time. Like it's more like chronological, like and then in terms of thematic placement.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah, no, that makes sense then. Because
S-
yeah, it would be
It's
manuscript is stolen,
yeah,
technique begins to change, then the refining would happen.
yeah. Okay. Adam.
So mine is going to go under War of the Bonsai,
Okay.
and it's going to be Yori uses the forbidden technique on his father Tetsuya.
I like that.
Yuri uses the forbidden technique on his father. You say his? Okay.
His father
His father.
Tetsuya.
There's your betrayal, Eric.
Tetsuo.
There you go. Bam.
Did you say Tetsuo? Did I spell it right?
Tetsuya. Yeah, sure. That's fine.
Okay. Light or dark?
Dark.
Yeah. Love it.
It's pretty clear.
Kung Fu or tradition is exactly what we're going for here.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Cool. And then it's back to me. I'm going to do an event under Let's Get Down to Business. This will be a light event because this is a secret dojo. It's the hunt for the secret dojo, where both the Ebony Fist and the Black Hand are looking to find the mythical training place of like a ancestor, like long ago.
Cool.
So I'm going to call it their search for the I don't want to call it Shadow Dojo. I'll call it the Umbral Dojo.
The dojo hidden in the Umbra.
Begins.
Thesaurus.com and Shadow.
Yeah.
Shadow.
All the words for Shadow.
So the Umbral Dojo is supposed to be a mythic ancestral like training place and like monastery. I'm loving the like history kind of like dumb shit. So that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so that's our second pass. Which means now we're ready to begin actual play. And what happens is we'll begin with Sam choosing a focus, and because Sam will be our first lens. And how about though it is 10:06? So how about we just start that after our break though, and begin play from there? How's that?
Sure.
Okay. So we'll see you guys in approximately 8 minutes. So we'll see you then for exciting start of our game of Microscope Echo.
Kung Fu edition.
Kung Fu edition.